Just tune in to Uncultured, the podcast, with your host, Jeremy Zion. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Uncultured, the podcast. I'm here today with another guest. I got Silka with me. How you doing?
Hi.
Tell them where you from.
How
you doing?
Well, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, go to school in Philly though, so living there for now, but we're back in town
Facts.
and whatnot, so that's a thing.
Facts. How does it feel back to be in the city?
I mean, it feels a little like nostalgic, like seeing like all the places I used to go in high school and seeing like old high school friends and like just being around people that were a part of me growing up. So it kind of feels nice.
That's facts. Well, we here today and we've been talking, we've been conversing a little bit. And I definitely feel, a little excited to share with you guys, what we've been talking about because it's real. You know what I'm saying? We as we all can hear about, George Floyd going on, igniting all these protests, and once again we are out and advancing, and it feels great because it's like there is acknowledgement to the fact that it's now or never right now, and it's like we can make that evident. So, and I feel like now is the time where we can really plant our feet and ground into that, and
apply pressure.
Apply all pressure.
Apply all. Like we're already there, so it's like, oh, we're gonna go harder.
Exactly.
Here. Oh, now that y'all see that, let me show you something else. Let me show you what you've been so removed from, or what you haven't been able to see, or what everyone's experience hasn't been. Let me explain to you my story. Let me show you what my life has been like. Exactly.
And it's now I believe that it's time more of the fact that we've been on the same entertainment systems. We've been seeing the same things. And I feel like making black faces in the media, why not make it a normal thing? I've seen otherwise in my whole history. So it's like growing up, I never could, see unless I had the cut or anything like that. And it's like, even I believe in with modeling, people may see me and be like, oh, you do modeling? No, you should do modeling.
Right.
But it's crazy because it's like the same modeling industries will ask to cut your hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Come in this form that we want you to come in. And I kind of can't show up in my natural form. So I feel like now with having black media and having people in their natural form, why not? You know?
I have there's a situation that actually happened. My major is dance, so I realized with a lot of dance companies, they ask for diversity. That's what they get you in with. They say that in the auditions. They say that when they're hiring you. They say all these things of, we represent diversity. We bring all different cultures together, and we want to celebrate that. That's what they say. They say it in their mission statements. They say it to your it's the people that are really the ones that own the entire company and the ones that are running it. And you see that they do celebrate your culture by playing your music, getting black choreographers and all of the black dancers, and then the person that represents the posters that represent the entire company are black dancers. And then there's situations like this where they're completely silent and they have nothing to say. They're just silent because it's okay for them to profit off of you, but it's not okay for them to help you. And that's what I've been seeing. I've been seeing that a lot with dance companies. They have really been showing their colors of what they really do stand for. And it's disheartening. And I think that it needs to be said that these people need to be called out. And it's for the simple fact of a lot of times they don't want to, taint their image. They have a certain brand that they want to upkeep, and they want to be able to have donors and supporters and sponsors for all of these events that they have and concerts. So it's like, with that, I see that the money matters more to you than the well-being of the people that you profit off of. And that's the issue. So I've been seeing that as well in the dance world too. We don't escape from that.
Yeah.
We don't.
Even in like, you speak on dancers, and dancing's like as a whole is wild, because there's like the way that y'all move and the way that y'all, I feel like most dancers just let the vibrations and the frequencies take them away, like, and definitely in freestyles, or even whoever the choreographer that is coming up with the choreography, everybody when doing it in unison is like on that same frequency, and everybody floats together for this one visual, like, active piece of art to just move. And it's like seeing that, you know, it's the art of it. And like, I feel like to put black skin on certain black pieces created by black people is something that should be something that we're getting used to now. It shouldn't be there's a black person. We shouldn't celebrate the fact that there's a black person in a film. There should be black people in films. There's no reason. I don't think we should be speaking and making it every time a select, or saying this is the first black person to do this. This is the first black. There's a lot of first black people to do a whole lot. There's a whole lot of first black people to create. You know, so I feel like making it a culture, making it okay to make it a celebration every time. No, this should be normal. I should start seeing that every day. And I shouldn't feel like, wow, that brother made it to the screen, or that brother made it here, he made it here, when, why? You know what I'm saying? Why? But anyways, and as well as I want to do track back to the profiting off of dancers in that way. How do you feel like, is it more like, you know, like urban music and like ready for like music videos in that way? How does that go?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that there's a lot of different like choreographers that do hip hop. There's the ones that do, you know, like just hip hop as could be its own, but there's like different sections within it. Like there's so many different breakdowns to that. But even classical dance, like modern and Horton technique and all of these different things that there's a lot of known black choreographers, and it's really based upon just the choreography. It could be I remember there was just recently, I just saw a post this morning of a former Ballet Memphis company member, and he spoke on the fact that one of the head like coordinators or person that is a part of Ballet Memphis, they didn't want to have one of their black choreographers put Tupac or Biggie in their presentation that was a part of their choreography, because they were like, oh, well, we just want to show that, I mean, that kind of like sets a different image. We just want it to be like, you know, kind of open for everyone. And it's just like, I'm telling my story. You hired me to tell my story. Like, you hired me to choreograph, so that's what I'm going to do. But now you're limiting me and policing how I'm doing it. That's an issue. And it's like, that's an issue. And it's not okay. It's not okay.
That's the reality of it. And I want to think about even the fact that we look up a lot of things that's evident, like we're good at, let's say they throw out basketball. You know what I mean? Where we're dominant in basketball. We're dominant in football. And those just like main sports. But you think about even the profit behind that, where it's, even the presentation of it, I'm sorry, but it just feel like a slave auction. Like, it don't feel right still. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and we you know what I'm saying, feel for this, and like, it's like, okay, yeah, but it's like just even off all the arenas, and then you think it's just how it can break down easily, like, because then boom, an arena moves in, and now guess what? We placed this arena in this area. Y'all got to get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So it's all still a chain fall. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, we looking, and like the young ones need to be inspired to go something that like make a own league, something, because it's like, it's not gonna be shit if it's not entertaining either way. Y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the sense of like actually having a league that's now like, this is, oh no, that's my home. You play, you know what I'm saying? You play for the league. You know what I'm saying? He play for the league. You feel me? We go out to go see each other. Oh, bro, got that. Everybody get a shot. Cause, and just the honest note, there's not that many. and this is just honesty. There's not that many white men that I really aspired to see in the NBA like that was like entertaining. Meaning why the documentary MJ came out, MJ, because he was the first to kind of break that superstar of like, oh, he entertained to watch. Wow, this one can jump high. You know what I'm saying? This one does these spectacular things in the air. Yeah. Now was the first one that they can really drive with that. We're gonna push you because now it's like you get this brand. Even him being available to sell his brand, he already knows. You know, the paper. That wasn't his fight. He wanted to be the best basketball player. He achieved that. Right. Congratulations. Right. But it's not. It's still not. It still don't sit well with me, and I feel like during these times, these are thoughts that will be ignited. You know.
I think the thing that is with like athletes and the whole sports complex, like I think that it needs to not be a thing where athletes are objectified to people's idea of them. And that's and when I say that, I mean like there shouldn't be a time where they're feeling like they are just something that you can just benefit from. It should be something that they really are just doing like because they want to do it, and not because that they're running a brand for you, running a brand for them. Like no, like what you were saying, like it should be normal that we have these people in these different spaces. It should just be okay. Like it should not be such a big thing, but because it is a big thing, that's like only what like. And then also the other issue with that is that you get limited to that as well. I don't like to see that like my people like my black brothers and sisters or just people that are just athletically gifted. Why are they limited to sports? Why can't they be the CEO? Why can't they be owner of Wall Street? Why can't they be like business owners? Why can't they be a lawyer? Why can't they be a doctor? Like why is that the main thing? And then the other thing that I have an issue with is that people find us, when I say people, I'm really talking about the opposing side that is not of color. More so I'm thinking of like police officers and stuff that find black men a threat, but they find them a threat when they're 180 and tall. I was afraid he was gonna hurt me, but you're not afraid for that for football though. But it's a good thing for football. It's amazing then, right? It's just like, oh, it's great. Yeah, he's big. Yeah, we got a big. Yeah, he has some weight to him. We need him on the team so he can tackle that other. Like, it's gonna go crazy. But it's a threat when you're standing in front of you. Are you kidding me? You wasn't scared then? What is the difference?
We saying like this is the bloodline of the same owners that would come downstairs. These white men come in suits and smack him in the face. He a 6'8", 280 black man. Yeah. And he'll smack him in the face. Get your shit together, like. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, coach. Okay,
coach.
And
they know. Yeah. And then it's just like, but at the same time, you scared in public. Yeah. The same nigga that could be driving a Toyota Prius, you scared of this man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, same man that could be rolling around.
It's whatever. Not even fear. It's really just something you've created in your mind. Like, you really just, I don't even know. I really don't know the thought process that happens, so I can't really even begin to fathom what that feels or thinks. Like, I don't know what that is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we're going to dive into the episode. Welcome to Uncultured. What's happening is, I want to speak on energy and emotion and art emotion, because just how we can emotionally get sparked through a conversation and begin communicating using our words, that's because that may be our form of a way of releasing our energy, emotion, our emotions. So as well as emotions is always going to be emotion, just like energy. They continue in motion. And I want to speak about, you do dance. You are a dance major. Right. You are a professional dancer. And so what it is, she's professional because this is your love. Like the fact that you strive to get better and better at it, and it's something that you really love. Yeah. You're a professional. I don't care, because you work towards getting better. Just because professionals are wherever they
Everybody's
like it's
learning.
Like, you know, they still gonna learn, because it's like if they slack off, then somebody else gonna pick up. You know, so it's like you doing your thing. So as I said, being a dancer, and I'm sure enacting a lot of times where you may have been in an emotional mood and transmuted that to dancing. How does that feel, pushing that energy and emotion?
I feel like those times that I emotionally am not there. Those times I'm not mentally, emotionally there. And a lot of times I'm not even physically, like, my body is just like hurting. Like, I feel like the push through, it's like, I guess the way that I think of it, one of my friends actually from school said this, and he said this, and I was like, that's so profound. It was, it's not like, oh, I have to do this, but I get to do this. I have an opportunity to do this. If I change my perspective on that and allowing myself, and I have this luxury of being able to dance. Like, instead of I gotta do this shit today. Like, I do not feel like it. And it's fair to say that a lot of times you are gonna have those times where you really just don't feel like it, and that's okay. To acknowledge that feeling, and what are you gonna do with it is really the next thing. It's like, how do you progress? How do you push through? A lot of times I say that to myself, I get to do this. This is something that I'm still able to do. Even through all of this, I'm still here. It's like I kind of just put myself in present time. And I think a lot of times when I'm mentally drained, I'm thinking about what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future, after this. Like, I just try to think in this present moment, like, what can I add to this space? What can I bring? What can I be? What can I become? Like, what can I get from this? And what am I going to do with the little bit that I do have, with the little bit of energy that I do have, mental energy, physical energy? What can I do? You know, how can I add to the space? And I really try to just think of it that way, and really try to change the perspective of when I do not feel like it, I'm just like gonna like really release it. And more so, I make it more of a therapy thing for me. Even, you don't have to push yourself either in that way and like to exhaustion, but give what you're able to give. Be present. Just be present. I think I just think about being present.
Yeah. Because, I mean, anything that's ever happened in the future happened in the present. And I've also been, thinking about a whole lot of stuff, of just the fact that, like, you think of your brain, and I say that, like, if you don't hack your own brain, somebody gonna hack it for you. So it's just like, you may be led to be doing stuff that you may think is okay, but that's a thought. You know what I'm saying? You need to try other thoughts as well. Like, it's okay to let your thoughts run wild, have an open mind. That's where open-mindedness comes from. And it's like, the people that want your mind closed, they're not going to let you know that they are directing you towards liking these things, but question that as well. Like, make sure that you aren't being easily influenced in doing things because somebody else told you to, or because you feel as though that other people are going to accept you for doing this thought pattern. Because there may be a thought pattern that may lead you to another group of people that may embrace you and love you and bring you in to understand that a whole new part of you. You know what I'm saying? You may enjoy that journey a lot more. And that's just the honesty of keeping your thoughts wrapped on a one-way street, So keeping your thoughts on a one-way street with energy. This is the Oxford Dictionary definition of this. Energy, the word. The strength and vitality required for sustained physical or mental activity. And with that definition, it's, in the climate of things, I just feel as though these are thoughts that have to be realistic on my mind. Having black skin, like this, with everything that's going on, that's a part of taking mental space. But the people that's worried about moving in the neighborhood that, look opposite of me, that understand the advantage of this opportunity that's been provided for them, not me or anybody like me, what I'm saying, the ones that have access to it, all kudos to you doing your thing, brother or sister. I know y'all out here doing y'all thing too in real estate. I see y'all. And so, but other than that, the ones that's been primarily profiting off of it because our lack of knowledge, those are the ones that's profiting off it. Because they don't have to put energy in mental activity and thinking in, somebody might come and take my house, somebody might buy my house, somebody might do this, I'm gonna get moved out soon because they got all this going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different mental space and mental capacity, and that's the thing. Some people know that, which is why they would like to still continue to keep you closed-minded, but you don't need that. That may not always be the right way. Don't be stubborn even with yourself, because that's the most of the time what we doing, just being stubborn with ourselves, not others. So within that, I also want to speak on the fact that there's also a physics. We're going to speak in the French physics that was made by, I think it was like Emily du Gillet or something like that. That's just what I'm gonna say the immediate Google searches say whatever. She came up with the law of conservation of energy. It states energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but either transformed or transferred. And the formula E equals mc squared is the equation implying any object with mass can be converted to pure energy, and pure energy can be converted to mass. And I know we all heard of E equals mc squared, and we think of Albert Einstein, right. All that, these great philosophers that's been presented. But energy can only move through mass.
Yeah.
Energy moving through your body being the mass. As a dancer, I know there's more than that. Do you feel like your neurological, like brain sending sensations, like as you dance?
I feel like it's not always like me mentally that I feel that. I feel like my body responds to what's in the space. It's like sometimes like I feel the most energetically connected to the space that's around me when my mind is not on. And that's like in a sense of me closing my eyes and just like, okay, just be in this space. And it was even one of my classes, we had one of my improv dance classes, we had to like close our eyes and we had to do a duet with our hands with another partner. And the partner that I had, it was like his hand was in front of mine and both of our eyes were closed. Everywhere that my hand was going, his was, like the entire time. And our eyes were closed, but that was all energy. That had nothing to do with like this just being on and me really, okay, let me focus. Like, it was just like, let me just be. And it was like my body, like, follows energy. It just really, it's attracted to it. It's just, it's something that it's not something that can really be contained. Like it was saying, like, it can be either transformed or transferred. Like, I can give off energy or I can transform my own energies into a different, it's like just a different like feeling or whatever it might be. Like I just can transform it. So it's like I think like energy when you're dancing, it's very special, it's very intimate, it's very sacred, because that's what we live for. Because I feel like as dancers we live for energy to be felt in a room, because that is what the art form really lives in. It's like the point of me dancing is to move. Like I want to move, but I want to move you in your spirit too. I want to move myself in my spirit. I want to move the person that I'm dancing with in their spirit. I want them to feel it. I want everyone to feel it. Like you don't have to think about it. You just have to feel me. Like, and it's like I want that to be like inevitable. So energy is a very big thing.
Facts. And so really we're explaining this. I believe that in just our nature form, we're moving away from having to, not everybody has to cultivate on their land, because of, we say like even in these city structures, we got a McDonald's down the street, drive through, where it's like people may be used to only using drive through, eating drive through foods, maybe going through the grocery store, only getting canned, already ready foods. Like these are things that people's mind is getting used to more of. So I believe that like even our waking up to even put our energy in motion has been drawn back, where it's like people are directing your energy to where your emotion should be, where they feel as though it should be, instead of like, wow, like, no, I gotta wake up, go in the backyard, worry about myself. Like our minds, like the fact that I feel like we can't even wake up and worry about ourselves in a lot of places. Like a lot of people, you got jobs to go to, like where it's like that may be the crack of dawn, you wake up already thinking about this person corporation, and that may not be your happy space, which is okay. Like I feel as though if you run in a corporation and you have people that want to work with you and work for you, that's a difference. But waking up and it's like that you have a lot of people that is more in an enslaved energy space, that's not gonna help them along life. You know what I mean? You just killing them faster and faster, which I'm sure some know, but it's like, it's not well, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's a difference between waking up and you going to a place of work that you feel welcome, that you feel like, okay, this is what I do, and being okay with that. There's a difference than waking up and saying, damn, I feel like I have to do this, or it's like doing this and you just drawn far, far away, and it's like a mental enslavement.
Yeah.
And so it's like the fact that you can even do that before you dance, and kind of let the energy speak in the room for you and let your body be guided.
Yeah.
That's like
listening
that
to my body. My mind listens to what this is doing. Yeah.
And that's why I called you, in the sense of that's your own form of intelligence. Not everybody has that. And I wanted to let that also be known. Like, there's different forms of intelligence, and we've made it seem like because you may be a doctor, a scientist, or whatever, and have these labels that you're the most intelligent person. Right. Where it's like the cashier at McDonald's might be very intelligent at something that they put me on game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But that's why I brought you here as well, because it's like your intelligence to turn that off and let that speak. Not everybody has that.
Right.
So let's think of, even with, current cases with looting, all that kind of stuff, where it's like, it's not only the people that's being presented. We know that it's cops as well, people disguised, going out to loot. We know it's like a situation, it's a mental game, in a sense of, very strategic, in the sense of knowing what you're doing. I know that everybody's seen the video of like the pile of bricks sitting there, and then a cop sitting there undercover. Who pointed at, the government building, because as much as we want to speak about, we've been destroying our own property as well, all that kind of stuff. They're waiting for that strike on a government building, a police building, because then it's like, oh, you really attacked us now. Like, we haven't been being attacked, But stuff like that, like provoking, that's a very mental aspect of a game, of war.
Yeah, it's a form of mind manipulation. It's like you're doing something because you're waiting for a reaction to be, and a lot of times if you don't get the reaction, then you do something else that's going to provoke someone or incite a feeling that's just going to strike them. Like you're trying to find somewhere that's going to trigger a person. You want to trigger them. That's the point of you provoking them, because you want to trigger them to the point where they lose their sense of sanity, and then they react towards you, and then you're looking like, oh, I'm not the bad guy, you are. So it's like, that's like a mind manipulation.
So reaching that point, to be able to reach that space, what helps you? Like to be able to, I know y'all, getting in stretching, like kind of get into detail with me on how that process works for you, and when do you feel that release?
I feel release in dance. I mean, before and after like a class, I feel like when I'm stretching, like that's a lot of times, like that's just my restorative body work. Like I'm really trying to restore my muscles. I'm really focusing on what I want from this class. Like those are the things that I think about in that time that I'm stretching and getting my body well and warm. It's called, like, you get your body warm before you actually start to dance. So it's just like, I feel like during those times it's like really just a meditative moment for the dancer to really just be at peace with themselves, giving themselves me time, and really giving themselves self-care on their body, like really caring for your body and making sure that you're okay. Like that's like the thing. And then afterwards I've realized, like, that's warming up. Warming down afterwards is like still making sure your body is like checking in with your body, checking in with your, like, how do you feel? A lot of times, because I mean, after a workout, like, you just naturally, when you sweat, like, you're releasing endorphins, so naturally your body is gonna feel good after you have, like, released all of this energy, like, so it's like you just feel like you released something, so you're gonna feel that sense of like emptiness but like fulfillment at the same time. So with that feeling, like, you just want to just make sure that you're really just checking in with yourself, like, because it's like dancer's high, runner's high, like, it's like the same thing. It's like you want to just make sure. I feel like sometimes, I know with dancers, like, when we are in the midst of really focusing on the work, like when we're actually training, like, it's very mental for us. We're thinking about so many different things. If I'm at the bar in ballet, I'm not just thinking about my arm, I'm thinking about keeping my shoulder down. and making sure that this goes at a swoop down, and making sure that my neck is long, like all of these things like we think of in the moment of us just doing a combination. Like we're literally doing the combination with the music, but it's so many different things. Like our mind is like in so many different places because we're just like, I know this has to be this connects to this leg. Like it's just like so many things, and you have to make sure that you're doing it correctly because you can injure yourself. You can really injure yourself, so you want to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. So that's why it's like it's very mental when we're training. But I think when you're like dancing, you really get a chance to really be physically free and really just like allow yourself to be in the moment and like be present. Presence is everything. Stage presence is a very sought after thing. Like it's most definitely very cherished in any performance community. Like because it just like it literally shows. Like it shows, and when it shows, people feel that. So it's like that's like very like sought after. I think that's what it is. It's like, oh my God, like she has so much stage presence. Like I really felt that, and I know nothing about this. It's like that's what you are attracted to. You like that because that is what your body is telling you that it's attracted to. Your energy is attracted to that energy. So it's like, yeah. So I think during like body work and stuff, it really helps you when you're preparing yourself for those moments. And then after you have done that, you're making sure that you're still okay. Yeah. And sometimes it's like you get caught up in the mist, like your adrenaline is going. Sometimes you might not even know you injured yourself until like the next morning. You're just like, wait a second, like my ankle. Like it's just like you gotta really check in. So those things are very, very important for the health of your body.
Yeah, that's facts. And it's even to think about asking, like, if you letting your mind guide you and your heart not feeling shit, it's not really gonna lead you nowhere. I feel that. Cause it's like everything that she's speaking on is feeling. Like this is something that I know that we've been conditioned to feel as though everything you learn at a classroom is everything that you need to survive, but not much survival lessons is taught in school, in schooling. And these are actually like lessons that you have to really live throughout. You have to live them out to be able to understand. And it's like when you're able to understand, then it's like it's so real because that's the realest form of any energy expedited, like in life. Any energy exerted is more felt. But when it's like it's thought about, it's just energy in one constant pace. And it's like that's why that energy and motion is needed, because it's like today's, while I'm at it, my fault, today's spectacular vernacular, we got the word exoergic. And this just means simply releasing energy. So I want us all to be exoergic, you know what I mean?
Exoergic,
and not only like, feeling, the exoergic, I want you to just say that word over and over, because it's such a word that I know that we don't use exoergic in our very own, everyday vocabulary. Exactly. Like, we don't use exoergic, but, I'm just saying, I'm feeling real exoergic this week and the week on after, because that's this week's spectacular vernacular. And speaking on energy and motion, this was the point, like the fact that you have feelings, you have thoughts, you have ideas, you are a human. It's okay to enact, it's okay to feel exoergic, you know what I mean? And I'm naming it a feeling. I'm you know the definition, but I'm just naming the feeling of feeling exoergic. Just release energy. You know what I mean? But not only release energy, understand ways that it can be released other than that immediate feeling, because it's also
a progress.
It is. Exactly. And work on those pathways in which you lead all that. If you're feeling adrenaline, work on how you feel that through your body. You don't have to enact in this way, because some people may, like the feelings of fight or flight, for an example. Some people might lock up at, a place of harm or whatever. And then some people may enact and fight in the act of harm. So things like that, you don't have to, you're not really just born any other way. You also can grow that, just like you're a growing human being. You continue to grow, you age. It's about what you do with that time and those years. what you're embracing, what you're taking in. It's the little things. It can be so minute, but it can lead a chain reaction of a bunch of larger blessings that you'll see later on. You don't even need to worry about it, but it's just work on the little minute things first, and don't beat yourself about it. Just because you don't get some, applaud yourself on that and tell yourself to do better tomorrow. And then when you see yourself passing levels, keep doing it. Excel over yourself. Don't just settle for this idea. If you have projections of only material items in your future, change them now. Because it's once you reach and you get any material object you projected, you're not gonna what do you got to live for, So instead, think of just more strategic goals and improving you, your human, your soul, that energy that's inside of you, that energy that for some may be bouncing everywhere aggressively. It doesn't have any. It hasn't been trained different pathways to go. Right. It's only trained one way, and it's always ready to enact in that way. But take that time back when you feel that and acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you are feeling something. Yeah. And feel that out. It takes a while. If you need help, if you know you have somebody that you can call on that you may be able to break down to, if you feel like you need to exert and express that verbally, do that. If you need to go physically and go find something of art, such as dancing, like that may be a secret calling for you that you may not even know. You may be a great dancer, but enact that. Don't lock it up no more, because if you don't, it's gonna find somewhere to go, and it may not be something that you expect.
Right. Allow yourself access to all opportunities and possibilities. And I think back to what you were saying about energy. I think that energy can be influenced by emotion. So a lot of times when we do have to allow our energy to come out and be released, it's based off of how we're feeling in that time. And sometimes our energy is going to be there regardless, but where it goes can be influenced by your emotion. So that's also a thing too. So I think that that's very important to know, that you can really base upon how you're going to move, can be based upon how your emotions are at that time too. Yeah.
There's facts, because in a sense of there's no, going back to what she said, because that's tying off of, I got another, definitely. We hear emotion. And emotion, normal Webster's, dictionary definition of it, is a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. So what they're saying is emotion, and the thing is, I don't really... This definition, even in Wikipedia, it states that there hasn't even been so-called like a scientific study, like major definition on emotion. It hasn't really even been explained yet. So it's a word that's made, and it's like we can all express what emotion is. Right. But at the same time, we just think it's just mad. We've made emotion to 3 simple facts, like happy, mad, sad. That's emotion. When emotion is so much wider than that.
There's so many different things you could feel. Exactly. So many different things. Yeah, happy, mad, and sad is not all that it is. That's not all that it is. It could be anything. You could just be feeling numb. Like that's a feeling. That's an emotion. Like you could really feel. You could feel so many different ways, and I think it's important to really allow yourself to be open to knowing that is true, and that is present, and that is there, and it's okay. Like you acknowledge it. I think the first step, if you're trying to get past whether it's good or bad, like whatever it may be that you're feeling and you want to understand, just acknowledge. That's the first step to acknowledging it. You have to acknowledge it. Yeah. Just take accountability in acknowledging what you do feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where the steps, as I said, in acting those steps, we speak on it, but just like anything, we can say it, and it's much harder than just saying it. You know what I mean? Another thing to accept, but make those decisions to make a decision that you wouldn't usually make, because that's a part of retraining yourself, enabling yourself to learn different, know different, and really also acknowledge your own time of ignorance. You know what I mean? When you're able to realize those times where it's like, okay, I could say this, which I know that I feel as though would better me, and I feel like gonna lead me to a better situation, or I could sit here and not acknowledge it and continue to have a different influence. Yeah. You understand? As I went back to where you're allowing someone to govern your mental. You know what I'm saying? So, just definitely make sure to check in with yourself and realize that you do matter. You're not just a number. You're not just a skin color. You're not even just the name that your parents gave you, whoever gave it to you. You're not even just a name. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're an energy that matters. Yeah. So make sure that you're using your energy wisely. This has been another episode of Uncultured. Silka, would you like to plug in any socials, anything?
You can follow me at Silka_Sali El Bay. I mean, it's kind of long, so it's okay.
Yeah, fact.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I'll plug it in, and it's been great talking to you. You've been a great guest. And it's another episode of Uncultured. Be well, live well. We out.